a messy mind. Think I need to help you. I'm gonna try. Cute as hell, baby. Hotter than flames. Wanna burn together in a million ways. Now let me take the lead. Know you wanna play with me. Got secrets you might wanna see. You might wanna see. You might wanna. I know I'm not gonna regret this. Wanna get reckless, put you to the test, yeah. I know I'm not gonna regret this. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. I wanna get reckless. Couldn't keep your poker face. But boy, you kept me waiting when I wanted to race. Sweet as hell, baby. You're a sugar rush. I knew you were giving temptation, was craving. You love it, you hate it. Now let me take the lead. Know you wanna play with me. Got secrets you might wanna see. You might wanna see. You might wanna. Lock the doors, zip it off, kiss my neck.
Hello, wrestling fans. What's the story on NXT? Tonight's topics include the Dusty Rhodes Classic semifinal matches, DIY No More,
Matt Riddle challenges Adam Cole.
Shayna Baszler destroys all women's contenders,
All that and more. All in the Wrestle Story.
Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday night after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday night after NXT,
Obviously.
and after every pay-per-view. We'll also stream before any pay-per-view
Friday or
with
Saturday.
our predictions.
Yeah, normally the Friday or Saturday. And then we also, depending on what is happening in the world of wrestling, will do another stream during the week to talk about any news happening in the world of wrestling. So, tonight, Wednesday, NXT. This ruined all thoughts I had before. Now I have to come up with new ones because they did everything that I thought they weren't going to do, which is good, but it messed up my theories. Like, big time. Like, absolutely big time. How about you?
Yeah, and this is before Ciampa's announced his injury, so, and maybe he knew that he had the injury, and they were kind of creating a storyline where things were going to change.
Well, after tonight, I think the intentions were to have Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa at NXT Takeover, which is what had been rumored. And if they were going to go through with what happened, then yeah. I wonder, because they said that the next Dusty Rhodes Classic match is in 2 weeks, so then they're going to play that one, play the pre-filmed one that they pre-filmed before that had the finished thing, so we see who wins. And then this next week, they do one where Ciampa addresses his injury and talks about having surgery.
Yeah, I think they could.
Like, all right, you all saw this. I underwent neck surgery about a week or 2 weeks ago, and I have to relinquish my championship.
Yes.
And
by the way, we don't check spoilers.
No.
We have no clue what's happened on any of the matches. We have no idea about what matches are going to be at NXT Takeover. Although we have some ideas on where things are headed and what's going to happen leading up to NXT Takeover.
Yeah. We have a lot of theories going on. Now I have to come up with new theories because things changed tonight. And so, like I said, it messed everything up.
Yes.
WWE.
By the way, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, so you know when we go live.
Yes. The bell button.
The bell button.
You said it right today.
That thing that, goes ding.
So, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into the show. So we started off with one of the Dusty Classic matches. We have Moustache Mountain versus the Forgotten Sons. And in this situation, I know you said Moustache Mountain was going to go through. And I said, I believe I said the Forgotten Sons. Because I said they might be trying to give them a push.
Yeah, and I think that they would have been better off having Moustache Mountain. Just because then you tie NXT UK into this.
Yeah.
And into the final.
Yeah.
Not that the Forgotten Sons shouldn't get a push. I think they're going to get a push anyway.
Well, I don't like them very much personally, but I just thought based upon how you have, Ricochet and Aleister Black who are going to be moving on from NXT, and you have no more DIY, which, we got for a week or 2 weeks, and then they were like, forget this. Change that up. You don't have many big name, after they leave, you won't have many big name guys left. So you got to start to build up somebody else, which is where I thought they would do the Forgotten Sons and try and build them up as a credible team. So then they would have somebody to kind of fill that big name spot in NXT.
Well, if you think about it, Aleister Black and Ricochet just kind of got thrown together in the last month and a half.
Yeah.
So they really weren't a tag team going into...
No, but what I'm saying, it's along the lines of saying you're going to have the big name guys that are on there right now. Ricochet, Aleister Black. I mean, Ciampa's obviously not going to be on NXT anytime soon wrestling. Well, I mean, he might, but he's not going to be on there doing stuff after, Takeover New York because he's injured and he's going to be out for a while. So you're going to lose him. And then you have Johnny Gargano. And with this whole storyline that they're doing right now, I mean, I don't know where they're going with this. I'm assuming he's probably going to fight for the NXT Championship at TakeOver. The vacant NXT title. I'm assuming. Whether or not he wins that, I think will determine whether or not they put him on the main show. Full time. And just move him off of NXT.
Well, I think right now they need...
So then they need somebody to fill the shoes of those guys that are moving up. That were big. I mean, you're still going to have Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle and those guys. But, to have somebody else kind of help shape the division more,
Yeah, and I think that when the whole thing started with Gargano and Ciampa coming up and Ricochet and Aleister Black coming up and being on Raw and SmackDown, I thought they were going to bring them all up and just have them all be on the main roster. And
all 4 of them, or are you talking about
Yeah, all 4 of them.
Okay.
All 4 of them will be up on the main roster.
Got it.
And I wonder if storylines, but they didn't really have anybody in behind to kind of fill in.
No.
Like you were talking about filling in some of those spots. They're starting to push some people.
But
they didn't have anybody to fill in behind.
I think Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic they're going to try and push them into that Ricochet, Aleister Black singles competitors type of thing.
Yeah. That's kind of what they're doing with Matt Riddle. I mean, that's,
I mean, yeah, they've focused more on Matt Riddle the last 2 weeks than they have, in quite a while.
Yeah. So, I could see it. But it's hard to get big guys as the title holder, and have fans actually get excited about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think people really, they just genuinely liked Ricochet, Aleister. They, genuinely like Ricochet, Aleister Black, Gargano, Ciampa. They actually like them. And so, putting them in a title spot is really cool. And, they enjoy seeing that. Because they like them. Because they have such good characters.
Yeah, they are.
And, I mean, I think it's the same way for Adam Cole or... And really Adam Cole, not really the rest of Undisputed Era because they don't do much with him. Adam Cole is the big main guy on there.
Well, and I've been talking about how I didn't think.
And Velveteen Dream. There's the other one.
I've been saying that I didn't really think that Aleister Black and Ricochet are like a really good tag team, but the thing I hate about it is that they have the two separate entrances.
Yeah.
And both of them are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you think of a tag team coming out together and walking down the aisle together and things like that.
Yeah.
But after, watching them more and more work together, it just seems that, they're a decent tag team.
They have really good chemistry, and like I've said this before, they have really good chemistry. Their styles are very similar in the ring. They're both those more high-flying flip guys, and so they work really well together.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job together.
So after tonight, I have theories going forward. Now, because I had to come up with new ones because they screwed all my other ones up. So, the Forgotten Sons ended up getting the win in this match. And I expected this because I thought they were going to give them a push to, make them more of those mainstream guys. Whether or not that's what they're doing, I don't know. Because now they're going to the finals, and then we'll see if they go to Takeover to get championships.
Well, I will say that, NXT, since we've been watching it, they do a better job of storylines on NXT than they have on Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to push more people on NXT than they do on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, they may give Moustache Mountain and the Forgotten Sons both pushes.
Yeah.
The one thing about it is, Moustache Mountain's probably going to go back to NXT UK. And we don't,
as of right now, we don't watch NXT UK.
So, I mean,
just because it's at an odd time in our day, it's on at 2 o'clock where we live. And so, you're still at work. And I'm getting ready to, go do stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's at a very odd time for us to be able to watch it. We can always go back and watch the replays. But, we just haven't done that yet.
And maybe we should, because there's some solid wrestlers that I think will eventually make the roster on Raw and SmackDown in NXT UK. So
yeah.
So then we have a Matt Riddle interview, and
he's talking about what he last week with Velveteen Dream when he came out and interrupted him, and he was like, I went out there to do exactly what I said. I went out there to say hi and get a closer look at that championship because I want to hold it. And then Adam Cole comes in and interrupts him and is like, whoa. You think you are ready for a North American title shot? You literally just walked onto the scene in here and you think you can do anything you want, man. I've been here longer than you. I deserve that title shot. And then Riddle essentially challenged Adam Cole. He said, you know what, stop doing your talking back here and why don't you go do the talking in the ring? There was never a match announced for them as of right now, but maybe what they'll do is over the next couple weeks, it'll be a Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole. Whoever wins goes on to get a North American Championship opportunity.
Well, and things may change with Ciampa being hurt. Maybe they push them towards just the NXT title.
If they're going to do that, I see Adam Cole being pushed for the NXT Championship, and then they do the Matt Riddle and Velveteen Dream thing. Because they started doing that last week. So to me, it would make no sense if they were going to then put Adam Cole in that position instead of Matt Riddle, when Matt Riddle already has started a storyline with Dream.
They might. I mean, that's, I think they could push him either way. Both of them. And you know what? When Matt Riddle first came in, I was like, who is this guy? I really don't like him. But
I like his gimmick.
He does a really good job, or he's done a last couple promos. He's done a really good job with his promos, and he's hitting spot on.
Mm-hmm. He's really good down in NXT. He's good in the ring, and he's good on the mic. And that's what a lot of the guys down in NXT are. is they are so good. Like Adam Cole. Adam Cole is really good in the ring. He's really good on the mic. So he's like the total package and could go up to the main roster. Same thing for Ricochet's promos. 90% of the time are really good. And he's really good in the ring. So he's another one to watch out for on the main roster. Obviously, he's already been moved up there. Aleister Black is more the silent guy. And he just, shows what he can do in the ring.
He's an Undertaker type guy. He doesn't say a lot. Mm-mm. But when they do talk to him, it's like short, to the point.
And
so
it works.
Even though he doesn't speak a lot, it
adds to his character.
Yeah.
It's the more mysterious, what is this guy really going to say type of thing, because he doesn't talk all that often. So, I mean, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm assuming they'll either do it next week or they'll announce it for like in 2 weeks that it'll be Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole, and whoever wins will go on to get a North American Championship opportunity.
Yeah.
So the next, real quick, because we were talking about this last night, and you were like, oh, I don't know who will be in the main event of WrestleMania with the way they're doing the storylines and stuff right now on Raw and SmackDown. And they showed a promo video. Well, not a promo video. It's an advertisement. They showed an advertisement for the Charlotte, Becky, Ronda thing. And I was like, and they showed that multiple times during the show. So I'm like, dude, how is that not going to be the main event? They're not showing Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. They're not showing Daniel Bryan and Kofi. Well, Kofi Kingston hasn't been announced yet, but it's gonna go that way. So, I mean, seriously, does it make any sense for any other match aside from that to go to Mania and be the main event?
And here's why they're doing it, in my opinion. They've taken so much heat off of this match.
Well, they gotta advertise it somewhere.
And so they're trying to advertise it to try and get more interest and get people the peak back to where it was. I don't think they can do it.
Having the main event?
I don't think it'll. No, I don't. I think that what's going to happen is they're going to take a look as they get closer to WrestleMania. They're going to see where, what's getting the pop. And I think right now, if I was to pick a match as a main event at WrestleMania, it'd be the Kofi Daniel Bryan match.
I mean, I would agree with that, but I still 100% think that they're going to put that women's match in the main event.
Well, they might.
Because it's going to be the first ever main event. And I made this point last night. I said if they wanted to do it with Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair, now's the time to do it, because Ronda Rousey's days in WWE look as if they're numbered. And that's the talk around the town. It looks as if she might be leaving after WrestleMania.
She might be.
And so if they wanted to do that first ever women's main event with those three people, they have to do it now. And to me, they've talked about it too much. So, and it being the first ever women's main event, it makes no sense for them not to do it now, because they've talked it up so much.
Well, they have talked it up, but they killed all of it by the storyline that they had going on.
And maybe they did, but I still don't see them putting... If it's going to go anyway, it's going to be the Universal Championship match. The three last matches of the show are going to be the Universal Championship match, Kofi and Daniel Bryan, and then the women's match. And the women's match is going to go on last. That's the way I see it. I don't know. I just want to kind of mention that because I found it very interesting that if they weren't going to do that as the main event, why would they show so many videos for it? And I mean, it might be, like you said, to get more attention drawn to it because people might not care anymore, but... To me, it says, all right, we're going to have that as our main event. They're not showing Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. They're not showing Daniel Bryan versus whoever.
Because they don't have to.
Well, they might not have to, and they don't have that announced yet. But the Seth Rollins Brock Lesnar thing is not even going to be that big. They're not doing anything with it. I get Brock Lesnar will be on Raw this week. I understand that. But, like, they haven't done anything with it thus far.
No, they haven't, but...
They've been working the Becky, Charlotte, Ronda thing, which they may or may not have been doing a good job with. It's just, that's the way it is. And then they have the Kofi and Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
And those are their two big storylines right now. But I don't know, I just wanted to mention that because I found it very interesting. So now we have the Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair match for the number one contender spot for the Women's Championship. NXT Women's Championship. This did not go the way I thought it was going to, at all.
It was a good match up until the destruction began.
Yeah. So, you know, Io Shirai kind of got the upper hand and was getting ready to, like, pin, I almost said Shayna Baszler. Whoops. She was getting ready to pin Bianca Belair, and then Shayna Baszler came out from the commentator's desk where she was there doing commentary for the match, and she interfered. She pulled Io Shirai out of the ring, and then she put Bianca Belair in her sleeper hold, and then she knocked her out. And then Kairi Sane came down, and she was like, oh, I'm going to save the day. Cool, woohoo. And then she got knocked out. And then Io Shirai tried to save Kairi, and then Io Shirai got knocked out. Pretty straightforward. It's pretty much what happened.
In other words, Shayna Baszler destroyed all of them.
Yeah, she destroyed all three of them. All three of them. Oh, boy. That wasn't even what I thought they were going to do. Now that ruins my idea for Io Shirai and Kairi Sane going for the tag team championships at WrestleMania. I mean, they might still do it because they've done that before with the Royal Rumble where they have the... they have like a match at TakeOver the night before and then they show up in the Rumble the next day. Which is always a possibility, but I feel like if you're going to be in a big match at TakeOver and then you're going to be in a big match at WrestleMania, like, they're not going to do it now. And it makes me sad because I really wanted to see them go for the titles, the tag team titles.
I think they need to be up on the big stage because I think, you know, if they do it right now, there's not a lot of people even know who Kairi Sane and Io Shirai are.
But there are a lot of people who do, though.
But there's a lot of people that don't because they don't have a WWE Network. When you have a small fan base, I mean that was the issue Ricochet and Aleister Black had when they first
got on the show. Yeah.
So you can't just bring them up and go, hey, you're going to go for the titles. Because nobody knows who they are.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
So, you know, I thought it was plausible if they were going to bring them up and kind of have them be seen on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
But they really haven't done anything with them as far as that goes. And right now, I think they're probably needed more down at NXT than they are up at on the big main roster.
Yeah, I guess. But I would have liked to see them go to WrestleMania to get the titles. So now that ruins that thought. Now I have no idea what they're going to do with I have some idea of what they might do with the tag team division. The women's tag team division, that is. But, you know, that kind of ruined my thought on that. So nobody wins. They all get destroyed. And then we have Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic announced for next week. They will have a match. This is following up after last week when we saw the video from the Performance Center where Dijakovic tried to come in when Keith Lee was training and, like, beat him up. But people held him back. Funny, Eric Bugenhagen was in that video. And I was like, look, there he is. There's Eric Bugenhagen. That's how he makes his TV appearance.
In the Performance Center.
In the Performance Center,
yes.
In that video. Because they were like, oh, he's too cool to put on TV. So, you know, we gotta like, put him in there, but, like, not let people know he's in there, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's too cool.
Definitely.
I feel like they should use him more.
Well, they're going to have to start using some of these guys more, especially with Ricochet and Aleister Black moving up.
He's got such a cool gimmick. I mean, why not?
With Ciampa's injury. Well, the key is going to be him on the mic.
Yeah.
If he's not good on the mic, it's going to be tough to get over. Because unless you have an Aleister Black type deal
which
where
does not seem like what he would do.
You know,
he's the
it's
air guitar player.
Yeah, he seems
rock
like
out to the ring.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to be good on the mic to get his gig over.
Mm-hmm.
And
so maybe he's just not there yet, and they're like, let's just wait a little bit longer, take a few more promo classes, and then we will put you on TV. You know?
Yeah.
You were on there one week, and you did amazing. People loved you. They were chanting your name, and it was the first time you'd ever come out there and wrestle.
But he didn't do anything on the mic. I mean, they didn't have him talk or anything, so I don't know.
No, but they loved his gimmick. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people
loved
loved his gimmick.
So, I mean, they should bring him out. Have him wrestle, because I'd like to see it. So they have that announced for next week. I'm going to say Keith Lee wins next week.
I would agree.
Because I feel like he's just gonna like bulldoze him over.
Yeah.
You know. So next we have a Shayna Baszler interview, talking about what she did in the ring, and it says she's like leaving the building or something.
Yeah.
And she talks about how not a single woman in that locker room deserves a shot at my title. None of them have proved themselves. Obviously, as you watched, I just ripped them all apart, and they did nothing to defend themselves. So, you know, none of them deserve a shot at my title. And then the Kathy Kelly, who is conducting the interview, goes, "Oh, I just got word from Mr. Regal that at NXT Takeover you will defend your title against all 3 of those women. Can I have your thoughts on that?" And she like goes, and then walks away. So
I'm shocked. A fatal 4-way for a championship. I can't believe they do something like that on WWE. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the question. How do they know when they're leaving the arena and stand outside? Like they're standing outside waiting. "Oh, can I get a word with you?"
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah. And it's not like they're wearing their normal clothes. They're always wearing their wrestling. I got my championship belt over my shoulder. I'm walking out of the arena. I'm going home.
But yeah, that's funny. That's funny. So it'll be Shayna Baszler, who is the champ, versus Kairi Sane versus Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair. I don't know who wins that.
I would believe that Shayna Baszler's going to win.
Probably, unless they have other plans for her. Moving forward.
Well, if they're going to move her up, then yeah.
Hello, Bendy.
Hello, Bendy.
How are you?
Good to see you.
So, I mean, if they have plans for her moving up, because it'll be WrestleMania weekend. So, I mean, they could literally do anything. She could show up on Raw that week. Ronda Rousey could be giving her a goodbye speech. And Shayna Baszler comes in and is like, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm here to take your spot."
They could set up something with that. I mean, that'd be cool. I'm not sure what is.
They could also, thinking about that, if they were to go with that angle where Ronda Rousey is giving her, like, farewell speech, and then Shayna Baszler's music hits and she comes out and she's like, "Hey, great job at WrestleMania. You lost your title. And don't let the door hit you on the way out because I'm taking your spot." And then Ronda Rousey decides that she's going to stick around to duke it out with Shayna Baszler. And then after she's done with that,
great. Then we're going to have like a fatal 4-way match between Baszler, Rousey, Becky Lynch.
No, this doesn't even need to involve Becky and Charlotte. This should just be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
It doesn't, but
they're supposed to be like friends and stuff, but they could totally turn that where Shayna Baszler is like, "You know what? Like I said, don't let the door hit you on the way out, and I'm here to take your spot because you want to leave. You lost your championship, and you want to leave. Guess what? I lost my championship, and now I'm here on Raw."
Thing is with the way the WWE has been lately,
so why not?
You know,
that would be a great idea.
Wouldn't shock me, if they did something like that.
So if they did that, and then they have them stick around, they could do it at maybe Ronda Rousey sticks around until SummerSlam, or I guess the next pay-per-view would be Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
And then they have their match there. And then Ronda Rousey leaves.
Yeah. Good.
But that could totally be another angle they take.
Yes.
If they have Shayna Baszler lose her title and Ronda Rousey lose her title. I would like to see that.
Then someone will go, "You guys are losers."
You both lost your titles, but Shayna Baszler thinks she's better than you because she lost her title and she's not saying, "Hey, I quit and I'm leaving," and you are. Yeah. It'd be a storyline.
It would be.
It'd be something different.
But then again, nobody knows who Shayna Baszler is.
No.
I take that back.
Yes, they do.
They know who she is.
Yes, they do. Because she was in MMA UFC.
Yes, I know.
So they know where she is from there.
But you're gonna have a lot of people that don't. A lot of like diehard wrestling.
So
fans
doesn't
that
mean
aren't
they
gonna know
couldn't
her.
bring her up.
Well, they
could
could, but
pull a Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa. Nobody knew they were going to be there. Nobody saw that coming. They literally brought them up out of the blue. So, I mean, why not? Why couldn't you do that?
I mean, but I don't know why they would.
Another storyline. Get Ronda Rousey to stick around for another 2 months.
Well, they could.
That's what that would be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do, anything for their ratings or anything because nobody likes Ronda Rousey to begin with. But it's a thought.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who would win that. I mean, if they were going to go with Shayna Baszler and she wasn't going to move up, cool. If Io Shirai, that'd be my pick.
Then we have the Ricochet Aleister Black versus DIY match. Good match. This is, again, all of these matches tonight are
really
excellent.
good.
If you do not have WWE Network
Seriously.
and have not seen NXT,
Seriously. Go get it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely worth it.
It's $9.99 a month.
And you get the pay-per-views.
And you get the pay-per-views. So you should get that because it's amazing. And you get to see great wrestling like this. This did not go the way I thought it was going to go at all. I thought DIY was going to win. And, nope. Ricochet and Black won. And now I have new thoughts.
It's amazing that you have new thoughts.
Because they ruined my old ones. So I had to come up with new ones. So then they talk about the finals being in 2 weeks, and they will face the Forgotten Sons. Ricochet and Black win. Hashtag WWE.
Yeah, WWE ad. Now they just need to start paying us.
Yeah.
For all, the people that come in and watch our videos.
So Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the Forgotten Sons in 2 weeks. Ricochet and Aleister Black win. And then they go to NXT TakeOver, and they win the titles. And then the next night, they are on WrestleMania, the biggest stage of them all. They walk out with their NXT Tag Team Championships, and then they win the Raw Tag Team Championships. And then after that, what they do is they go on to SmackDown and say, check us out. We got 2 titles. Let's make it 3. Need one around the waist. So we're going to go after the SmackDown Championships. They go after the SmackDown Championships, and they say, we're all 3 champions. Nobody can touch us now. But what we're going to do is we're going to unify them, and then we're going to do what Sasha and Bayley do because we like them, and we're going to go everywhere and defend our titles.
It would be a way to
There you go.
eliminate 2 titles. And I've said they've got too many titles.
Actually, it'd be a way to eliminate 3 titles because then they just make it the WWE Tag Team Championships.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you'd eliminate 2 because you're going to have one of the belts is going to stay. Not necessarily as NXT or Raw or SmackDown, but
not
it would be a
necessarily.
WWE title.
Maybe they dab. Yeah, thanks, Pendy. Bringing it back.
So I
'cause
think
I'm
that
cool.
it's I've said it. They've got too many titles. They need to eliminate them. They need to start doing cross
This
promotions.
would be the way they do it.
Well, and I think it'd be a good way to do it. Now, whether they would do it or not, I don't know because I don't see WWE doing that. Just because WWE is stubborn and they don't do things like that.
But I do think they're gonna win the NXT tag titles, and then they're gonna go the next night on Raw. On Raw. They're not on Raw. It'd be WrestleMania.
Well,
Then they go to WrestleMania.
Well, that's
and
fine.
if they're in the match for tag titles there, the Raw Tag Team Championships against the Revival or Rude and Gable and whoever else they decide to throw into that match, because you know they will. Match has not been made yet. We're just assuming that. Then they win the titles there too. And then they say, hey, we're the Raw champions. We're the NXT champions. Maybe they don't go for the SmackDown titles, but they are like supreme over the rest of the tag team divisions because they got both titles.
The thing is, if they win the NXT titles, they're not going to win. I don't see, unless their plan is to unify the titles and just have one title.
But what if they do? That would be a cool sight to see.
Well, and I think it's a better way to do it, doing it that way, than to just drop titles. At least this way, you have a way to eliminate titles, and you could just have one title being brought out between SmackDown, Raw, and NXT, and just call it the WWE title.
Or maybe they don't win the NXT titles because Undisputed Era comes out and they're like, we want those titles. You are not winning them. We want them.
Possible.
And then, they go for War Raiders, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they still had beef from before that they never finished. So maybe they get involved in the match at TakeOver. and then they're the reason that Ricochet and Aleister Black don't win. And then they come on NXT the next week and are like, hey, we want a shot at the titles. And then Ricochet and Aleister Black are like, yo, you ruined our title shot, we're going to ruin yours. And so, then they do something with that.
I might.
But if the plan is to move Ricochet and Aleister Black up to the main roster and have them there full time, and like they're done on NXT, which is what it sounded like they were doing, then they don't do that. And they win the titles, and then they win the Raw titles, and it would be splendiferous.
Yeah, splendiferous.
It'd be really cool.
Going back to the match, Gargano and Ciampa are out.
So, it's actually, back up just a little bit. In the middle of the match, Gargano had gotten hurt. His knee, like when Ricochet threw Ciampa into him, it like hit Ciampa hit his knee or something, and so they were like playing the splendiferous. Yes, splendiferous. It's a word. I don't know if it's necessarily in the dictionary, but it should be, because I say it all the time. So they were like playing this injury thing where Gargano like couldn't walk, like couldn't put weight on his knee, couldn't walk on it. And so, they lose. And then he like rolls out of the ring and is sitting there, and then we have Candice LeRae who comes out to like console Gargano. And then Ciampa comes over to help Gargano and like help him stand up and walk up the ramp. Like any good tag team partner would. But then, he turned on.
He was gonna throw him into the what do you call it?
Not the barricade. The
screen at the back as you're walking up the Jumbotron.
Yeah, Jumbotron. We always can never remember what that's called.
So they was going to throw him into that, and Ciampa ended up putting his foot down and stopped him from doing it.
Ciampa? What are you talking about?
Gargano did.
Ciampa was going to throw Gargano into the thing, and then Gargano was like, I saw this coming, you fool. My knee is 100% fine. And then he threw him into the thing, and then he continued to beat him up for a minute. And then I thought it was very funny, the camera angle they got. It was just like Gargano going, like he was just smiling at him and like, was shaking his head no. And then Ciampa's face was like, oh, he played me like a fiddle. And so then Ciampa got thrown into the screen, and then after that, Candice LeRae and Gargano stood over top of him, just smiling at each other.
Yeah, well, and that's,
I think this is where they were going to, build up to Takeover. That's what it's called. I couldn't think of what it was called.
Yeah.
That's where they were going to, I don't know why. It's like, it was in my head and then it wasn't. They were going to build that up to Takeover, but they obviously can't do that now because Ciampa's injured. So where do they go with this?
Well, and I think, I don't know, because with Ciampa being hurt now.
Oh, maybe they play it off as next week, Ciampa comes out and says, all right, Gargano, he threw me into the screen head first, and it's, screwed up his neck or whatever. And then he had to, they play that out.
Yeah.
That it's Gargano's fault that he had his injury or whatever. And then when he comes back, he takes revenge on Gargano again.
Yeah, I mean,
because he would be the whole. They would play that out as he would be the whole reason that Ciampa got injured in the first place.
Yeah, I mean that could be the way they're going to do it. I mean, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm trying to find this tweet that Gargano sent out after the matches tonight.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he tweeted. I was on Twitter because I was trying not to see what happened. So,
Yeah, so just carry on with,
So, I mean, then, like I said, we have Candice LeRae and Gargano standing over Ciampa, smiling at each other, and the crowd is chanting Johnny Wrestling. So, I mean, it's like the crowd wanted DIY to get back together, but then, like, they also were like, Johnny, you're better on your own.
Yeah, and then when they split up,
they're like, woohoo! Go Johnny!
Well, I think they kind of saw that the Ciampa thing wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, That's kind of what I got when the crowd started chanting for Gargano, is that they kind of knew that it probably wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
So anyway, Gargano, sent out a tweet after the match. The face you make when a plan comes together. It's just a video of him looking at Ciampa.
It's of him throwing him into the.
Well, it's
the
of him, his face. He's like looking at Ciampa,
He's
and
like,
he's smiling, shaking his head. No.
You thought you were gonna do this to me again? Oh, you're a sucker.
And then he throws, and then that's when he throws Ciampa into the Jumbotron. And then he says, I told everyone 7 months ago that it was time to become the man I was always meant to be. It's been a long road to get here, but it's good to be back. And hashtag Johnny Wrestling. So I would say, that he might be the one they push for the title if they don't move him up. And right now, it looks like they're not moving him up. I know they had him up there a couple times on the main roster.
I think the plan was to put them up there as DIY.
I don't think it was, because I think they had plans.
No, but they didn't have any.
No,
the thing is, they didn't have him up there in singles competition. They had him with Ciampa.
Okay, but they had to do it to set up. They were doing that to set up this Dusty Rhodes Classic, and so I think it was that was the way they were setting this up.
I guess.
And
then it was gonna be Johnny turns on Ciampa the whole time.
Yeah, well, there were rumors out there that this was what's going to happen.
Well, it was supposed to happen at Takeover. Takeover New York was going to be their big match for the title, and then, Johnny would win.
Well, then it goes back to them knowing that Ciampa was going to be out for a while. So they figured this is the way they split them up. And then Ciampa will come out and say, hey, I'm injured. And
I want him to come out next week, and I want him to play out the thing where he says, Johnny Gargano, you are the reason I'm injured, and now I'm going to be out for several months because of you. But don't think that while I'm gone, I won't be watching. And I won't, if you go on to win my NXT championship, which maybe or maybe not you do, I will be watching. And don't think for a second that when I come back, I won't rip you apart.
The thing is what they've done. If that's what they did, okay? If that was the plan, they've created a storyline. Mm-hmm. Because now you're going to be sitting there, and for the next 6 to 14 months, you're going to have Ciampa not involved in any matches. And how much he'll be around, I'm assuming he'll make some appearances and things like that, just so he keeps his face out there, and so he's kind of preparing for the return. And then when they bring him back, you've got a storyline with him and Gargano. Mm-hmm. And, which is why I said right now,
100% want to see him come out and do that. And just be right dude, I will be watching.
Well, right now, NXT does a really good job with their storylines. Even with, the few matches that they have, for the most part, they do a really good job with their storylines.
They do.
And they create them, and everybody knows where they're going. And it's generally not a long, drawn-out 3-month, 4-month, 5-month storyline that's being created.
And you know what would be so good about that? Just so then people... it'll go along with the whole thing of he won't know. You won't know when he's going to come back, obviously, because that's whenever he gets cleared.
Yeah.
But, he can just end it by saying you won't know when, you won't know how, Gargano, but I will be back. And whether you're the champion or not, I don't care who's the champion. I'm coming back for Goldie, and we are going to be back on top where I was. And then he just drops the mic and, leaves the ring. That's how he needs to end that segment, if that's what they're going to do. I 100% think they should do that. That would be so cool. Just keeping everybody on edge, and like you said, that when Ciampa comes back, he will be coming for Johnny Gargano.
Well, it's a natural story.
If they play that out, where he's like, dude, you're the reason I'm injured.
The thing about it is this is a storyline that you could carry out because it's like a legitimate injury. And you can carry this storyline out over an extended period of time.
Well, and people already knew it was a genuine injury. Well, but then they can play that up even more by saying, hey, by having him come out and be like, Johnny Gargano, you are the reason that I am injured, and I will come for you, and I will hunt you down, and
Yeah, but he's going to be off TV, at least not wrestling for the next several months.
6 to 14 months. Okay. I mean, he's going to be gone for a long time.
So you have this build-up when it comes time for him to be close to coming back. You have a build-up, right? This is where they could have done something different with the Becky Lynch thing. They could have totally done something different. They could have had her miss a couple weeks of Raw, or don't put her on TV at all for 2 or 3 weeks. Bring her back, if they want to show little clips of her like rehabbing her knee or something like that. Like there's a legitimate injury.
Like now, or like what they should have done before.
Well, they should have done it before. They should have been building this up. Instead, they're having her hobble out, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm good. Check me out.
With that being said, though, I talked about this in the car with you today because I was like, I never looked at it this way until I looked at it this way. And it was like she came out there and was like, Ronda Rousey, I played you like a fiddle. You came out and you punched me in the stomach. And I'm now going to WrestleMania. Look at that. And so that made me think, well, what if, going into that match, she was like, oh, I'm going to play up this injury a lot worse than it is. So then Ronda Rousey will come out here to save the WrestleMania match. So then I am in it automatically.
All right.
And then she gets to save up all her energy for when she goes to WrestleMania.
Okay, but then that goes back to what I said when we were talking about this. Oh, now she's psychic and she knows what Ronda Rousey's going to do. Mm-hmm. So she not only has a hurt knee, but now she's faking a hurt knee, but she's psychic. Well, why doesn't she just get rid of the crutch and like fight?
She did get rid of the crutch. Not to matter when we see her fight.
Yes, she got rid of the crutch, but like get rid of the crutch way before now.
I agree. They should have gotten rid of the crutch a long time ago because it...
And I think it would have got her more pop. I think doing it that way, she would have had more pop than she does now. Doing it the way they did it, it killed everything they had going.
But I just thought it was very interesting because I never really paid attention to that last night, I guess, when she came out and was like, Ronda Rousey, I played you like a fiddle.
Okay, but it killed everything they've done.
And so I had never looked at it that way, like where she would have been like, I'm going to play this up and act like I can't get out of this. So then Ronda Rousey comes out here and punches me in the stomach, and then she automatically gets me into the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, because she knew Ronda Rousey was going to come out and punch her in the stomach.
Yeah, Dad, she read the script.
Yeah. Well, no doubt. But Ronda Rousey says it's not fake, or it is, that it's all fake and that she's done being fake.
But yet she goes out there, and if it was not fake, she would go out there and she'd punch off people's heads. But she doesn't, does she?
No, she didn't want to hurt her because she wants to destroy WrestleMania where there's lots of people watching.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So
who's getting a broken nose out of this deal?
I don't know. No clue.
I don't know either.
So that's pretty much the way NXT ended. Like I said, good show. Storylines were expanded on. Storylines were created. The one thing they do a good job of is NXT is creating the storylines, and I think that like I said, it's I'm glad we have the WWE Network to watch it because
it's all I watch now.
Sometimes it's more interesting.
It's literally all I watch. I watch WWE Network. I watch old pay-per-views, recaps of Raw, Raws from previous weeks, and I have the hiccups. I'm so sorry. I just watch a lot of stuff on there. That's all I watch now. So,
if you ever wanted us to do a show on a historical WrestleMania 1 or
2 or 3,
23 or something like that, where we do a recap of it and kind of give our opinions on it, then let us know in comments.
Oh man, I can't believe I just did that.
We could do a historical.
Man, I threw water all over myself, guys.
A historical.
Not good. Now my shirt's all wet.
Good
thing you can't see that because
you just put the heat out on the man because they've been doing that on WWE already.
Stop it!
You put the fire out. Good job.
Stop it!
That
was really good though. That was a really good burn.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm funny.
That's because there's no fire going with the whole Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte
Whatever.
Flair
I still
thing
feel
right
cool
now.
when I wear this. I still feel really cool when I wear
You
this.
should feel cool because there's no fire going
Because
on.
I'm the man. Shush! Stop it! Why are you doing that, man? Why are you doing that?
So we're going to end our stream. You can catch us on Mondays after Raw, Tuesdays after SmackDown, Wednesdays after NXT. If we happen to have news that pops up and enough news that we could have another stream, we will have another stream on
Like a Thursday.
any of the news that may be out there.
And normally it's on Thursday.
We
It's very odd. It normally happens that anytime we've done extra streams, they've always been on Thursdays.
Well, that's kind of an open day that we have, so it's kind of.
And then Fridays we do prediction streams.
Then we have, of course, prediction streams before a pay-per-view. And then we have our streams after the pay-per-views. And make sure you hit that bell
And subscribe. So then you're notified when we
give us a like.
New videos.
And so I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll be back. The next time we should be back is on Monday, unless there's new news.
You can follow us on Twitter at the Wrestle Story. You can also follow us. I'm at Mr_Gleen.
And I am at Maven Gleen. You can hit us up on Twitter anytime with questions on anything.
We will give you our opinion or the answers if we can find them. And
so like I said, I think we should be back on Monday.
We'll be back Monday
Raw.
after Raw.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Definitely.
So until then, peace.
Peace out.